hurry up and put a ring on it, right? I'm just saying, So we get married, and I'll tell you, for those of you who are younger, or maybe you're not married in here, let me just tell you, you think you know a person until you marry them.
Amen.
Listen, until you marry them, because I thought, so Emily and I had dated. It was a really cool story. We met in Africa on a mission trip. 5 years prior to that, we had dated for a while, and I know everything about her. This is awesome. It's not a big deal. Okay, we get married, and then I realized that it's a big deal if you shave and don't clean the sink up, right? It's a big deal. That's probably the biggest deal, right? Some of you guys, I've been married for 40 years, and I'm still struggling with it. I learned this when I was younger, but when I was talking about this the other day at work, like, you have to put the seat down, right? Like, that's a big deal as well. So again, if anybody is listening and you're a fella and you're not married, learn those two things and your life will be awesome, right? All the ladies are like, but I learned a few more things about Emily as well when we become because in order to learn stuff about people, you have to be in a relationship with them. Right? And as Emily and I have developed our relationship over the past year that we've been married, I've learned there are things that are big deals and there are things that aren't big deals. She calls it choosing her battles, but whatever. I try to be a good husband, but I learned this. She got her nails done and her toenails done a few months ago, and she comes up and she's like, "Do you like my toes?" And I was like, "Yeah, they're good." And she's like, "Good." Now listen, good means good to a man, right? But to a woman, good means average. It means, they're mediocre. So this is the response. All you single fellas, all of you guys who have not figured this out yet, listen, if you've been married more than 10 minutes, you should know this, but if you don't, I'm going to tell you. So, what a woman wants when she asks you a question, how do these pants make me look? Do you like my shirt? Do you like my toes? She wants you to just go absolutely nuts. She wants, yes! Look at those toes, baby. Those toes are the best looking toes I have ever seen in my life. Holy smokes, would you look at those things right there? And I'm like, Brandon, look at these toes. Oh my gosh, right? That's the response that they want. Did I just turn this off? No, okay, we're good. But that's the response that women want. But you only learn those things being in a relationship with someone. And that is the point, right? So this thing, Jesus didn't come for religion. Jesus didn't come for this thing that we do. Jesus came so that he could give us life and life more abundantly. Amen. And we do that by being in relationship with him. Yes. We do that by learning more about him. We learn every single. Some of you guys are like, man, I talked to I'm a third generation preacher, and I'm so thankful for my heritage. Both my grandparents, my parents are children's pastors, and I'm a student pastor. My brother's a pastor. We just come from a whole line. I'm so thankful for that heritage. And I was talking to my grandpa at one of the holidays recently, and just talking about different things and how do you get through life and what's the key. And I just like that kind of stuff. And he's like, never stop learning. Right. Never stop learning, not just about the Bible, but more about who Jesus is. That's right. Yeah. Always be learning more about his character. Every time we open up the Bible, we should be going, oh my gosh, because we're opening it up with a pure heart, right? We're not opening it up so I can say, man, I know more about the Bible. There was a point in my life when I was in high school, people were like, man, you could just quote the Bible left and right. And I'm just going to be transparent and tell you that I was like, yeah, I can. And all I was doing was learning things about God and not about who he is. So then I started looking at it from a completely different angle, and I started opening it, and I started going, oh my gosh, I've known Jesus since November 30th of 1997, but I'm seeing it in a new light now. Yes. I'm opening my Bible, and I'm going, oh my gosh, that's the relationship I'm talking about. I was dating Emily from a distance. We got married and moved in with each other, and I started realizing there's way more that I didn't even know was there. And it is amazing, and I'm so thankful for all of that. It's the same way with Jesus. We meet him and we go, yes, and all we want to do is stay at a certain, this has nothing to do with what I'm talking about today, but it's good, so we're going, right? So we say, okay, Jesus, I'm going to date you. I'm going to just be in this relationship with you, but when we truly come into covenant with him,
that's it.
When we truly become in that with him, then our minds are blown. We start seeing, we open the Bible, and something so simple that says that for God so loved the world that whosoever believes in him will not perish but have everlasting life. That's one of the greatest scriptures ever. It's the most repeated scripture ever.
Yes.
Everybody, whether they've never been to church, most people know that scripture, but when I read that scripture, I go, I'm the whosoever.
Yes.
I am that whosoever.
Thank God. Yes, yes.
And it's personal to me. I'm in a relationship with him.
Yes. Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
But I want to draw your attention to why the well exists this morning. Because we have put community over crowd.
Yeah.
We believe that, when I say that a lot in our student ministry because we've had over 160 students come this year. We've had over 60 students give their lives to Jesus and start walking in relationship with him, which is huge, right? And I'm not saying that for me. I'm just saying that it was this big thing, and it just took off, and God is doing great things, and I'm so excited for all of that. But there was a moment that it was like, oh, we're doing it. Like, this is it, right? And then there's no discipleship. There's none of that. People are meeting Jesus, dating him from a distance and not coming into covenant with him. And I'm going, oh, hold on a minute. There's community over crowd. We're not just gathering so that we can say we've got the largest student ministry in southeastern Ohio and it's just good and we've got cool lights and we've got, the student pastor's old but he wears ripped jeans. Like, none of that stuff. We said, no. We're a community of believers who have the same goal in mind, to learn more about Jesus every time we meet.
Yes.
And not only that, but to bring the lost souls to come to know who Jesus is.
Yes.
That's what we're about. And that's what the well is about.
Yes.
And have you ever been around a campfire or a bonfire? I love fires. I love sitting around them. It's one of the most relaxing things for me. We do that a lot with students. We'll finish up our meeting, and then we'll just go hang out at somebody's house, usually Alex and Brandon's house, and we just have a fire. And if you're around fire a lot, you're outside and you're hanging out for a couple hours, you come back in, you tend to smell like smoke, right?
Yeah.
And I actually think I've shared this before when I'm here, and I just feel compelled to do it again, is that it's the same thing. So as a church and a body, there might be some people that say, we've got to stay away from those people. We've got to stay away from, we can't have that person sitting in our congregation because if we do, we're going to smell a little bit like smoke. We can't get too close to the fire. But listen, here's what I want to challenge you guys today, and I know the heart of this church, that's why I'm sharing it here, right? Is that whenever those people come, whoever those people are that are not a part, that don't look like you, that don't act like you, that, man, I want to be the type of a church where I got to hold, ladies, you got to hold our pocketbooks because, I'm gonna raise my hand with this one, I'm going to clench onto my purse with this one, because the guy next, over here by me, he might actually be taking something because I don't know, but those are the people that we want because they don't know who Jesus is. Like, I'm not worried about having the perfect cookie cutter person come in. And this is the thing. Gosh, I don't even know this is fun. So let's say that Brandon here is in church, right? And Brandon is a guy who loves Jesus, Brandon, and his chair represents a church. Brandon, can you come over here with me? Can you sit in this seat right here? Now, this is another church over here. Now, this church has a bunch of people in it, and Brandon's coming to that church. Now, Brandon, come over here. You can sit back down over here. Thank you. But when Brandon came to this church, that was not church growth. That is not kingdom growth. Now, I'm not saying that if we're in here, because God, I've been to different churches in my life and served in different places. I'm not saying that. But when I'm saying we get a bunch of people in one place just for the sake of people being in one place, that's not church growth. That's not kingdom growth. What happens is whenever Jeremy, who doesn't know Jesus, when Jeremy doesn't know who the creator of the heavens and the earth is, that Jesus died for his sins, and whenever we as the church, the ones that are already apart, we say, Jeremy, it's not just Pastor Jim's job. to stand up here and tell people about Jesus. It is our job as the church to say, Jeremy, there is a God that loves you the way that you are, but he loves you way too much to let you stay the same. He loves you way too much. He sent his son to die for you. And then whenever he comes and sits in the seat, that is kingdom growth. That is church growth. And that is what this church is about. Amen? We marry our mission we're just going to date our methods. Marry our mission. The mission is to get people to Jesus and see people disciples.
Yes.
But the methods of it, listen, I can promise you that when I sat under Pastor Jim, our stage did not look like this. That is a method. And Sunday, and we didn't sing the same songs that they sang this morning. And man, y'all got a killer worship team. Yeah, I mean, they're good, right? We didn't have Mackie thumps. Like, we didn't have that stuff, and that's okay. I'm not saying you have to. The church down the road may not have it, and that's totally fine, but that is a method. And God has called us to be us. Yes. God has called the well to be the well. He's called the church, the Baptist church, to be the Baptist church. But we all have the same mission. We just have different methods. And if God comes in here and speaks to Pastor Jim and Pastor Jeremy and he says, hey, we're going in a different direction, guess what? That's the way that we go. Because we're following the moving breath of God. He says to worship me in spirit and in truth. The word truth there means what is true. I know that's super deep for some of you. But listen, the word in spirit means the moving breath of God. So if I'm standing in this house and they're singing something more current, I will worship God. Listen, they started singing, you have no rival, you have no equal. I was ready to take a lap. I'm telling you, that's one of my favorite songs. It gets me going. But in the same respect, that if I'm in my grandfather's church and they're opening a hymnal to page number 142, and we start singing Just As I Am, it is the same exact way because the mission stays the same. The method may be different, but the mission is the same. And we're also going to connect before we correct. As the church, we connect before we correct. Because I promise you there will be people that come into this house that do not... We always say at our church we have graduates of Penn State University, and we also have graduates of State Penn. We have both, and we have everybody in between. But those people that come in from the State Penn, we connect with them before we correct. We develop that relationship, and it gives me now a platform to stand on and say, hey, this is how God intended it. God didn't give you all these rules and regulations because he doesn't want you to have fun.
No.
He did that as a protection for you. And when you present things in that manner, people's lives are changed.
They are. They are.
I mean, think about it. Jesus had Judas. Those of you guys who know the story of Jesus and you've been in church for a long time, Jesus knew Judas was going to betray him, but said, still be a part. We have one mission to see the lost found. Amen? So Luke chapter 15, we see here, I read the latter part of it, but I want to kind of go through it very quickly. Jesus had been doing ministry everywhere that he went. Everywhere that Jesus went, he didn't have this agenda. I need to have so many people and I need to have all this stuff. The Bible says he just showed up, started speaking, and the crowds came and showed up to listen to what he was saying.
That's right.
But see, he was doing some radical things. He was doing some things like accepting those people or healing people when it wasn't appropriate, or he was doing all these things that were against the method. He said the mission stays the same, but the method is a bit different. And people started, it was really bad when Jesus started hanging out with sinners. Like when he started going to people's houses, man, he totally, like they were just not happy about that at all. And he was being criticized for that. He came from